faces.
Going live. Hang out on air is live. No, I'm not going to show your faces. Hi, this is Dr. Christine Zorad, and welcome to the new patient orientation. If you're watching this from home, that means that you weren't able to be here in person with us, which is what we prefer. But if you have some comments, you can go ahead and type those in. And then after the presentation, I can answer them for you. So you can go ahead and do that. But thanks for coming. And thank you guys for coming. I'm happy to be able to do this during the day and to be able to accommodate schedules. So, and I have a question about how are you healthier now than you were 5 years ago? If you're healthier now than you were 5 years ago, raise your hand.
That's kind of a mixed question.
Yeah.
In some ways, yes, I am.
In some ways, yes, you are. Okay, so if you're in some ways healthier now, what changed? What did you do differently to become healthier?
Well, number one, I got rid of cancer,
Yes, so now you're cancer-free.
and you're helping me with my aches and pains
Yes,
that have been very uncomfortable.
good. So you feel better.
Yes,
You have less pain.
yes.
And how about you?
Yes, I think I have improved because I have gone on a gluten-free diet and
Okay.
low sugar,
Yes,
and that seems to have given me, I don't know, more energy or
more energy, good.
balance. So
So did you do the gluten-free just for a few weeks or for longer?
it's been since 2009.
So that's been quite a while. So that's
Quite a while.
more about making a change to your lifestyle.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Got it. So who thinks that they might be healthier 5 years from now than they are today?
I'm hopeful.
You're hopeful? Good. What kind of things would you need to do? You know, stop doing, start doing. What would you need to do in order to make that happen, to be healthier in 5 years than you are now?
Be consistent with exercise
Yes, exercise.
and always work to improve your diet.
Yes, diet and exercise. Excellent. And you would be doing that for just a short period of time or for a longer period of time?
Hopefully a longer
Period of time. Right. So you would make some changes to continue to add to your lifestyle
Yes,
in ways that will promote your health.
correct.
Yeah. And you, if you want to,
I guess I agree on the exercise part.
right.
I don't know how much I'm going to adjust diet.
We don't know, do we?
No.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't feel a need for that, but
And now
I
that
do
you,
know I need more exercise.
and then now that you feel better, it's more possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's, when you hurt all the time, it's hard to get up and go and do things.
Right.
So, yeah.
I guess what I mean is more clean eating,
Right.
because you can get in really bad habits pretty fast.
Yes.
You mean like the junk food and
Yeah. Yeah.
Sugar, chocolate.
see, I like
Holidays are
sugar.
coming. Holidays are coming. I did a class last year that was about how to get through the holidays and enjoying the foods that you like without having the guilt. So I may bring that back and do it in November, because it's November now, maybe in December. So, all right, perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start the slideshow for the viewers at home. I'm going to start the slideshow, and then you won't see me for a while, but you'll hear me. Okay, so we'll do that and get that started. Perfect. All right. So the good news is, turn the light out. Health isn't about gazing into a crystal ball. And the good news is that we were born to be healthy. I don't know if I've mentioned that to you before, but we're born with this innate ability to heal. And that innate ability to heal is inside of us all the time, no matter what age we are, no matter what's going on, it's always there. And it's not a mystery if you know where to look. So have you ever wondered why some people seem to stay healthy and then some people don't? Some people can just, eat bacon and drink a lot, smoke or whatever, and they don't seem to appear to have any problems. And then some people work really hard to take care of themselves and they seem to be sick all the time. So why do people go to medical doctors? Or any kind of doctor, really?
Because you don't feel well.
You don't feel good, right? Because you don't feel well. Oh, you should. It sounds like you wrote this. And everything that you've tried to do on your own hasn't worked. So you get to the point where you want to go do something to feel better, right? And then what happens when you get there?
Well, they give you medication,
They give you some medicine.
try to evaluate what's wrong.
Yeah, they evaluate. They give you some medicine. And if that doesn't work, then you go back and that doesn't work, then what? And then maybe some more tests, and then, we can put things in, we can take things out. Sometimes you just remove the part that's not functioning properly. And so my question is, what's kind of wrong with that thinking?
Drugs don't always work.
They don't always work, right? And then
And you need to find the root problem.
find the cause.
Yeah.
Yeah, to find the cause, exactly. And the other thing is how you feel isn't necessarily how you are either. For an example of that is, how many years does it take to develop diabetes before it shows up on a blood test? It can take
A long time.
5 years, 10 years. It can take a lot of years getting up to where it will finally show up in a blood test. But during that 10-year time, did you feel okay?
Probably not.
Well, most of the time people think, yeah, I feel fine, until all of a sudden you don't feel fine. But that disease process was going on for a long time. Another example would be, somebody like cancer, there was a period of time where the cancer was growing that you felt fine, but you weren't fine.
But yet you probably realized there were changes happening to you.
Later, later you can think, there's some changes. But most of the
something's not
time,
right
if
here.
we're not actively sick, or if we don't have, we think we feel fine. Some things come on so gradual that you don't realize they're happening. And so how we feel isn't necessarily how we are, because it can take years for heart disease to develop, and you feel fine, but you're not fine. You see what I'm saying with that? So, putting things in and taking things out isn't necessarily the way to heal, to get good health for the body. And we have this, like we said before, we have an intelligence inside that does the healing. We don't have to think about seeing or hearing or digesting. It just happens automatically for us. And it's not an educated intelligence, so people with degrees don't heal faster than people without degrees. It's all about an innate intelligence. It's not an educated intelligence. And it's about, that life force, because if you cut a corpse, what'll happen to the cut? It doesn't heal. Exactly. So if you cut a human being, then it has that life force, it has that energy in order to heal. So what's the key to this healing ability that we have? If it's so great and it's there all the time, what happens? Well, this inborn intelligence runs through our body along with the nervous system, and the communication can sometimes be blocked. So what blocks our nervous system's communication? Well, chiropractors call the blocked communication subluxation. That's that red word, subluxation. And it not only affects the nerve system, it affects the muscular system, it affects the bone system, it affects the organ systems and everything else. And so it's these spinal misalignments that are what chiropractors adjust in order to access the nervous system to get this innate intelligence in your nervous system functioning at a higher level.
What blocks our nervous system?
Well, we're going to get to that. So what causes it? Well, if you don't have enough food, it's called what?
Starvation.
Starvation. Not enough water.
Dehydration.
And if you don't have air,
Suffocation.
and then not enough nerve function is what we call subluxation. It's a big word, but it's... So what causes this imbalance in your system has to do with traumas. And there are 3 T's of trauma that our founding father, D.D. Palmer, coined as tensions, toxins, and traumas. Actually, he had tensions and thoughts together. So he had thoughts, toxins, and traumas. But basically, the traumas are in 3 categories. They're emotional, and there are chemical, and then there's physical. And we'll go into each one of these, I believe. Okay, so physical stress is something that we can easily wrap our minds around. If you fall down, if you get hurt, if you're in an accident, those micro traumas that cause the carpal tunnel, just that the day-by-day stress that is small, but it adds up over time. Those types of things we can recognize as, that could cause a problem. Kids fall an average of 3,500 times by the time they're 7 years old. Is it possible that maybe 1 or 2 of those times falling down, that could put their spine out of alignment?
I would think so.
Yeah, that's possible. And if that's true, is it possible that we can grow up with subluxation and not know it?
Very possible.
It's very possible. Exactly. And so the other thing, the new physical stress now is the text neck, T-E-X-T neck, text neck, where people are looking down at their phones and their tablets all the time. And it's estimated that young people spend 4 hours a day on their smartphones and their tablets, and even more than that on the weekends. And it's causing a phenomena where, little kids' necks we're supposed to have a normal curve, and little kids' necks are going the wrong way because they're looking down all the time. And so, we got to look up and see what's in front of us instead of what's in our phones or our tablets or that type of thing. So that's the type of trauma that you wouldn't think would be causing, a problem. Chemical stress, some are obvious and some are hidden. So we're looking at, maybe a poor diet, which would include what?
Fast food?
Fast food, yeah. Preservatives, lots of processed food. Medicines, both, drugs, both prescribed, over-the-counter, and illegal. Those are stresses to the body. Chemical stresses. Pollution. There's the stress of the electricity that's running in the walls of our homes and everywhere we are. There's the stress of it's not chemical, but there's a stress of the waves, the information waves that are around us all the time. Some people, they're looking at, for physical stress, they're looking at Wi-Fi and how that might be affecting children's brains to have that Wi-Fi on all the time. All the schools are getting hooked up with Wi-Fi, internet.
Even in our homes.
In our homes.
Yeah.
Even in our homes. So I know some people that have gotten rid of their Wi-Fi and they just do direct plug-in to their computers instead.
Yeah, I never heard that.
Yeah. But that's more of a physical. But getting back to chemical, other things that aren't listed there would be vaccinations. Those are chemical stress. The formaldehyde, the acetone, the all kinds of things that are in those.
But are we to go without them? Like a flu shot or?
Well, I do. I mean, I don't get them.
Yeah, I go without them too.
Yeah.
I haven't had one in 10 years or so.
Right.
I
Yeah.
only had one in my life.
I think I've only had, the only flu shot I had was the one that I got in high school when it was the big swine flu thing, back in the 70s that turned out to be a hoax. And a lot of people got Guillain-Barré syndrome from the shot, and it was not a good thing.
And the reason for that is, at least I've been told, that you get too many strains of flu all at once rather than your body naturally fighting off one at a time. Is that correct?
Well, that's one of the reasons why some people get sick afterwards. And the flu shot does lower your immune system temporarily. And so it makes you more susceptible to what's around you. And so that could be one of the reasons why some people get ill after they get their shots. For me, I just prefer to rely on my inborn healer and my inborn communication and the immune system that God gave me. And I work to stay healthy And so because of that, I stay healthy. I don't think I've had the flu since my kids were little. It's been over 20 years.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah, and I haven't had
Or
a flu
cold.
shot. I haven't had a flu shot since I was, in high school. So there are ways to get healthy, and that's another lecture that is actually available on YouTube too that we did last month.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah, I
sent
sent the
that
link.
out.
I sent the link out for steps and tips on how to stay healthy during the flu season. So just to keep in mind that those things are chemical stresses, and that's why we bring it up. An apple a day, I would say an organic apple a day, a certified organic apple, which I buy now instead of conventional apples. Okay, let's talk a little bit about emotional stress. So that can knock us on our butts, excuse my expression, but our emotional stress and our tension can be greater than some of the other stresses. And there were some studies that were done that showed that people in the workforce who had low back pain, their low back pain was more from their work stress than it was from anything physical that was going on in their body. So that's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So our stress, like, if you're having trouble meeting your bills, young families with young children and not getting enough sleep, older people that aren't getting enough sleep that might be worried about things. So sleep is a good thing. What else is there? There's bosses. You've got bosses, you've got employees, you've got coworkers, you've got, the road rage person on the highway. I mean, it's everywhere. Stress is everywhere. And so it's important to keep in mind that when we are under more stress, it's a time for us to take better care of ourselves, as opposed to it's a natural tendency to fall into bad habits when you're under stress. It's a reminder to take actually better care of yourself, which isn't as easy to do. It's easier said than done.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why, there's a reason why, comfort food is called comfort food. There's a reason for that, because it satisfies, that part of the brain, that needs satisfying for comfort. So subluxation is a process, that word, subluxation, like dominoes. Once you have that nervous system disturbance, everything else tends to follow along, the domino effect. And here's how it falls together. So we start out with total health, as long as we're born, with total health. We have stresses, the 3 T's. We get subluxated. We have nerve interference. Along the way, body starts to malfunction. And we end up with dis-ease, D-I-S'-ease, which is a word that D.D. Palmer, again, our founding father, coined back in the early, around 1911 or so when he was doing his writings. I see dis-ease in a lot of places now. It just means that you're out of ease. And then that leads to eventually disease, where you get symptoms, and then you have death by disease. Now, there isn't any system on the planet that will keep you from not leaving the planet. Everybody will leave the planet at some point. We arrived and eventually will leave. But I'm all about trying to feel good and have the kind of life that you want while you're here. So here's a kind of like some timeline type of thing. Are you healthy as you were 5 years ago? So we start out with 100% health, which is what this graph is up here on the left side. Birth, where you have 100% health. And then life happens to you. You have a health history. You have symptoms. And so a lot of times for people who don't choose chiropractic for a wellness, who come because they have an issue, you're starting right here in the middle of this where that red dot is. You start right there. So that's basically 100% health and 100% sick, and then birth and death. And so you're kind of right in the middle. And that's when people usually go see doctors, is right then.
In the middle?
In the middle, that red dot right in the middle. So if you keep doing what you're doing, what's going to happen? If nothing changes, what happens is you eventually, you get sicker and sicker and sicker. And you see that happen with people who don't either have the willpower or the desire to make any kind of changes in their life. So this is like a chiropractic example. Like you've come in for a certain issue. you get better, and then the symptoms go away, and then you stop getting care, and then the symptoms come back, and then you do nothing else, and then eventually you head down that same path. This is an example of the type of patient who, in any kind of practice where you feel bad, you go get help, and then you go away. And then you feel bad, you get help, and then you go away. And you feel bad, you get help, and then you go away. And that gives you kind of like a maintenance type, it's like a maintenance type schedule, maintenance of the pain, as opposed to maintenance of your wellness. And then there's a health development type schedule that you can be on, where you can continue to get healthier year after year after year. And as we discussed earlier, getting healthier year after year has to do more with what? We already had talked about it.
Or care.
About lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
About lifestyle. Yeah, about lifestyle choices. And that's one of the things that, if anybody was to get to the point where you could be on a health maintenance schedule, that's one of the things that we would work together with, is, changing lifestyle things here and there in order to get you to the point where you can know that you'll begin to get healthier and healthier, as time goes by. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
That's good. So you can stabilize and you can strengthen and you can get better, get healthier, for sure. So, and, there's so much more research that's coming out now about how our nervous systems are, control everything, and how it's important to have good nerve intervention where whatever is going on with you in order to stay healthy. So everybody's beginning to learn about that. And when it comes to being healthy, you have to take some steps every day, which is what we've talked about. Are there any other ideas about being healthy that you can think of that people could do? We talked about diet, we talked about exercise.
Well, I think part of it is seeing that you rest yourself, and I don't mean just sleep, but some type of
Meditation.
or
Right. Yeah.
Because all your work and stress never goes away.
No.
So you
Yeah.
just have to take
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's not so much about, reducing stress. Although there are decisions that we can make that do reduce reduce stress. We can decide to eat differently. We can decide to stay away from people who are toxic, if you know what I mean about that. You don't have to sort of surround yourself with people that are in bad moods all the time. You can choose to be around people who are more, lighthearted, and those types of things are helpful. But the idea is to help get more a range of adaptability to your life, because, let's face it, stress, like you said, stress is never going to be gone. And even happy stress is a stress, planning for weddings, or, new babies that come, or, taking vacations, or, that's all another type of stress. So there's good stress, there's stress that has, positive benefits to the body, and there's stress that has negative benefits to the body, and hopefully we can balance,
I was going to say, how do you find the happy medium?
Well, you find the happy medium by, evaluating basically, what do I do? What should I start doing? What should I stop doing? And then you realize that, through diet, exercise, meditation, getting adjusted to keep your body functioning at a higher level, then you get to the point where you can just trust. You get to the point where you can trust that things are going the way that they should. And if you have some evaluations that you can do along the way to show you that things are working the way they should, then you can you can relax more. And even 5 minutes of meditation a day has huge positive benefits to, lowering blood pressure and, helping people deal with life. It's not about, getting rid of all stress, because that's not possible, but it's about being able to, adapt and adapt better. So, and I think we were designed to adapt better. We just have to kind of learn how to do it. Well, I wasn't raised with these ideas, and a lot of people, and you probably weren't either. So, showing by example, I guess, how you can live. So if the whole world knew about this, let's say that you had let's say that all of your friends were taking care of themselves. What about all their family? What if our whole community was taking care of themselves this way? What would it look like?
We'd all be a healthy, happy.
A healthy, happy society, a healthy,
Yeah.
happy planet. You know, I used to have this idea that if I could adjust everybody on the planet, you know, we would have a better world. I mean, yeah, that sounds nice, but I can't adjust everybody on the planet. There aren't enough chiropractors to adjust everybody on the planet. But if, you know, the more people we can get, you know, pursuing health, you know, the better off, you know, our society will be.
Well, it's only been in the last, few years where there have been a lot more alternative doctors. You know, when I was young,
Yes.
you only went to your MD.
Yes. Yeah, there wasn't any.
We have more choices.
There wasn't anything else. We do have a lot more choices now. That's good. And I'm not, I mean, I don't, I'm not against, you know, Western medicine. You know, if I get hurt, if something happens to me, I mean, the first place I want to be is in the emergency room, because we have great emergency care in this country. It's really good. But as far as managing something else, if someone tells me, well, you take this medicine and then how long, and I'll say, well, how long would I have to take it? Well, forever. For me, that's not an answer.
You wouldn't do that?
No, it depends on what it was, but for me, it's not an answer. I used to have some thyroid issues that have healed over time. So I'm a lot healthier now than I was 5 years ago. But I was told that, you know, by this thyroid medicine I took and the bioidentical hormones I used. And, you know, I was told by my doctor that I needed to use them forever. And I thought, that doesn't sound right. That's not right. And so then I started pursuing alternatives, you know, to be healthier. So for me, I prefer to manage my daily life away from, you know, pharmacy. And I've been lucky, I guess. I've been lucky enough I've been able to do that.
Well, good for you.
Yes.
That's great.
So the first step, yes, to have better, healthy families. The best thing is to have a whole family under care, because families that get adjusted together, they get better together. So if there's some people that you'd like to share this story with, I have some packets available that I'll show you what they are. Okay, we're going to exit the slideshow. And I will say goodbye to the home people, they're here. Okay, so thank you for coming. Hopefully you got some ideas that are going to help you get healthier. If you have any questions, you can contact me. 402-210-8490. Leave some comments. And thank you guys for coming. As soon as we finish, we're going to do our little prize drawing. And then we're going to go over those packets that we talked about. Any questions? Do you have any questions?
Nope.
Nothing?
Probably nothing you want to record.
Nothing I want to record?
Well, because I've been going to another chiropractor for probably 15 years, but I like your approach because all my life I've had, I think, nerve issues, and I
Yes.
don't think anyone else was, you know, working with that part.
Okay. Well, the technique that I use is different than a lot of people. It's nervous system based. It's designed to basically get you out of whatever patterns that you're in that brought you here. And so I work to, you know, do things differently when you show up so that we can get your body working at a higher level and get you out of pattern. A lot of times what happens is you'll go somewhere and you'll get a certain amount of better and then you tend to plateau. I hear that from a lot of people. And one of the reasons is because the same areas seem to be getting adjusted time after time after time. And that's a different type of technique. So what I do, it's called MC squared, and it works with the nerve system to create balance so that you can better adapt to your daily life. So that's some of the difference in techniques. There's lots of techniques out there.
That's why I'm here.
Yes, I appreciate you being here too. All right, so we're going to finish, and thank you. stop broadcast, stopping. And then